Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and what a morning we've had so far.
Oh, it's been so fun around here, you guys.
Been so fun.
It's a beautiful snowy day, and I didn't think the snow was going to start until later, but here we are Tuesday, February 18th, and it is snowing like crazy outside. Everybody was driving very slowly, which is good.
That's good.
Good.
Nothing makes me angrier than some idiot passing me on a day like today. It's like, just calm down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Within reason.
If you slide and hit me,
within reason, though. But if there's somebody that's driving like 20, and it's not really, but like today everyone was driving around 50. Yeah. So I think that was good.
You know the morons I'm talking about.
I know the ones you're talking about. I know.
It's like I'm driving the speed limit 55, which is unusual for me.
Yeah.
It's unusually slow for me.
It was unusually slow for me too, but that is what I drove. But I did meet two semis on the way here that were both probably going, I'm guessing 70. They just right by me in the other lane, and I know that they're semis, and they probably feel like the roads weren't that bad. But seriously, if one of them wipes out, they're taking somebody else with them.
Yeah, that makes me angry. I don't care where you're going.
I don't
you should have left early.
And the other thing is, there was two of them. They were traveling together, and I know this because they were identical semis. And the one was like right up behind the other one. So if the first one would have had to have slowed down or hit its brakes because somebody in front of him wiped out, the other one would have rear-ended him. People,
calm down.
So then we finally got here, and then Stacey dumped her Diet Coke all over the floor on accident.
It is the saddest day. And by the way, with Beth and Stacey,
so if Stacey starts crying through the show, then you're gonna know why. Like, her Diet Coke is gone.
It's gone.
And
she's gone. Yeah, I'm so super sad. I won't be able to make it through the morning. My normal chipper self probably won't be so chipper anymore. I think Jan,
we have a special delivery at the door. Somebody just dropped off a Diet Coke for Stacey. I kid you not.
Okay,
the Diet Coke.
Thank you. And yes.
Oh, here she goes.
Happening.
Diet Coke. Okay, so
I can't live without it.
Yeah.
Me and Donald Trump. I didn't realize the Trumpster was a Diet Coke person.
Oh, really?
Oh, he drinks a ton of them too.
Okay.
Diet Coke's my favorite. All-time favorite.
Well,
I love it.
I'm off of sugar right now, and I'm drinking unsweet tea, but I really like it. I make it myself at home, and this is my tea glass here. And it says, how cute is this? This is what Stacey got me for Christmas. My favorite color is Christmas lights.
Yeah.
That's what it says. And then it has a battery pack in it, so it has the lights on it that actually light up.
Yep. I like the lights.
So
and you can get them to go. They do all sorts of weird stuff.
I can make it. Maybe I'll change it at the break, the commercial break, for a different pattern. But I don't care. It's February. It's snowing outside, and I have my Christmas
She's
cup.
going to be drinking that cup when we're here in July.
Yes, I'll be celebrating Christmas in July with my Christmas cup.
Yeah. I need to find me one that's big like that with. I got a big one. I think mine says Yaya on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cute. I love it. I drink that at home. It's a big one. It might even be a little. What are they? I don't even know.
Well,
I don't know my
normally,
cups.
I don't think this is quite a 32 ounce because it has the battery pack in so it's like, I don't know. This is probably a 25 ounce or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't pay attention.
It works. That's all I know.
Here's me. That's cute.
Buy it.
That's cute. That's what I do. But anyway, so lots of snow, lots of cold. It'll be interesting to see what happens with school today. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I think my car said 9 degrees.
Oh, really?
Which I don't think was quite right. It doesn't usually snow. Does it snow at 9 degrees? Or is it?
I don't know.
I don't know
anymore. Who knows? When I pulled up, my car's at the garage, though, it said 25, but it was kind of dropping a lot. I don't know. I think today it's not supposed to be quite so cold, but then isn't it like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday supposed to be super cold?
Yeah, like frigid.
Yeah.
But you guys, I love winter, but I don't really go anywhere, so that's why. I mean,
that's why she likes it.
I like being, snowed in, and I like looking out at it and being like comfortable in my house with like a big pot of soup on the stove, and so that's what I'm looking at the next few days.
Yeah, everybody that works out of course, I'm the same way with summer. So she's the way she is because she's going to do winter. I don't like winter. I have arthritis and stuff in my neck, so I don't like it because it actually makes me physically hurt. The cold makes me hurt, but I like the heat. But here's the difference: I like the heat too because I'm in my pool.
Right, you're in your pool.
If I'm sitting outside working in it, Beth and I are kind of spoiled.
You think?
Yeah, we're a little bit spoiled. So, oh yeah, I like it 100 because I'm in a pool.
Right.
But if I had to get out and work in it, I would hate the 100.
Oh, right.
You know, you like
And
the
I'm
super
like
cold.
the opposite because like in the heat, my body doesn't feel good. Like
Yeah, we are
I
opposite,
feel
yeah.
real exhausted and I feel down and I don't do well in the heat. My body can't handle it.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
think
why I like
most
the
people that are
cold.
arthritic, like I am a little bit, I think none of us like. I've noticed that, like some people, you know, it's as I love. It's like, oh, weather's going to change. You know, I used to people said it all the time.
No, there's truth in
no,
that.
there's truth. It's total truth.
I know. I have a pinky toe, and I know this sounds crazy, but it's been broken like 4 different times.
What?
Yes.
The same toe.
The same toe. It's like because the first time it broke, it kind of got mangled where it sticks out weird. Not real bad, but a little bit. Anyway.
You may have to take
I've broken it at least 4 different times, but
get a pedicure. I want to see him this summer.
Oh, it doesn't look that bad.
Oh, it doesn't look like you
but it's just enough that I can catch it on stuff. Okay.
Kill me now.
So
no.
yes. So anyway, when the weather changes, my toe hurts,
Yeah.
and I can be like, oh, I don't really tell everybody that, but
Mine's
like,
my
well,
ankles,
my toes hurting.
my ankles, my knees, my wrists, my neck. The neck is what's the worst for me. But I just kind of keep. I've been doing a little bit of yoga and stuff just to do some stretching. That's why I live for my hot tub.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't live without a spa.
Today would be a fun day to be in the hot tub.
I love being in a hot tub when it's snowing. There's nothing prettier.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, but when you get out, but you don't understand, it's 104 degrees. You're in there for 50. Most time they're like, I keep mine as high as it'll go, and that's 104. That's the legal amount. You can do it, I guess. But when it's closing in the summertime, it will get up to 105. But people are like, oh, but yeah, when you get out, aren't you freezing? It's like, no, because your
body heat.
Your body heat, is, your temperature. So no, getting in it, it's like I'll go bundled up and then throw a robe off and jump in. But there's nothing better.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get my new one too because it's bigger. It's a 5-seater.
Yeah.
I only had a 3-seater. Now I had a hot tub for 16 years. She bit the dust a few weeks ago.
I'd say that was one heck of a run because everybody else I know that has a hot
Right?
tub, like they get like 2 or 3 years out of a max.
16 years.
You must have bought a good one.
I did.
They're probably made better back then. You know, things aren't meant to last.
Oh yeah, this one
they're
I bought
not
now
made to last.
Probably won't last.
Like
5 years.
dishwashers, not made to last. Like we've went through so many, and now I just wash dishes by hand because
Yeah.
I'm so tired of constantly replacing the dishwasher.
Well, and the thing about my hot tub, here's what I wonder about those things. Like when my pool's open, it runs the whole time. People are like, oh, do you shut your filter? No, that sucker is running the whole time. I want that thing constantly circulate. And my hot tub is set to where it runs and then the jets go all, like, because I'll be sitting in the house and hear the jets go on even when it's closed. No, you got to keep that stuff circulating. I wonder if maybe why mine lasted so long.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
I am.
You're an expert hot tub owner.
Yeah, I am excited. But, like, it's so funny when I went up there because it broke and I'm like, I told Jim, I said, I'm going up to Effingham. I'm buying a hot tub. He's like, whatever. And so then I'm like, I get up there and it's bigger. And they're like, because the one I have now has only got 1 motor for jets. The one I've got now has 2 because it is a little bit bigger. But so Beth did it. She was up there in Effingham with her mom. So, I've like figured it out. Here's how I shop. That's the one I want. That's how I shop with everything. But the main thing this time is because I'm getting old. This one has the stairs and the handrail, right? Right. So I'm like, walked up there. I could get in and not, perfect. So then Beth comes in, and I'm like, that's what I'm getting. Of course, then they have these ginormous monsters over here. She's like, why didn't you get one of those? And I walked over there because my little short, fat legs was like, no.
Can't hardly get in. Yeah.
And then if I could get my leg over, it was a huge drop.
Yeah.
At the bottom. I'm like, no, I can't. You'd be seeing me fall in that
Yeah,
thing.
you get hurt.
And then the chances are I don't know if I could get out. The last thing I want is for Silas to make fun of me.
Oh, right.
Because he would.
Yeah. He would. He probably would. He would probably bring that up at some point.
Yeah. Yep. Because literally I think the only people that use my hot tub are me and Silas. I think so. I don't think really anybody else. Amy will come over and get in it every once in a while if her body's hurting, but Jim never gets in him. He hates him. He don't like the heat.
Well, see, I don't really like the heat either because, again, heat doesn't make me feel good.
Right.
But I will say that I worked a funeral dinner at the church one day and was on my feet on concrete all day, which just kills me. So I get it why you hurt because you're standing all day. And my legs hurt, my feet hurt. And Stacey said, come get in the hot tub for a few minutes. And boy, I did. And because I had things to do that night. That was the thing. I'm like, I don't have time for this. because I hurt so bad and I got to do this tonight. She said, come get in the hot tub. And I did. I just sat in there for like 10 or 15 minutes and I got out and I felt like just as fresh as I just woke up in the morning.
Yeah.
Like I felt so good. I got through all my evening activities, no issues.
Yeah, I stand by that. I believe insurance companies should pay for hot tubs. If they would pay for hot tubs, or at least a percentage of a hot tub, you wouldn't have to pay for other things.
Yeah, might help
I
people.
don't want to take
people
away
that
from
are
other
in
things,
physical therapy and all that.
But seriously, yeah, I'm telling you, I can get in. I can go out there and after a hard day and hardly not even be able to walk and get in there. I sit in there for 15. I think the most amount's 15, but I'll go 2 rounds, especially if I'm drinking a little wine. And remember what you found on this one? Remember?
Yes.
And I didn't even know. Once again, I'm like, purchase the stupid thing. Yeah, I
She
want this.
barely looked at it, folks. She was just like, I like that one. And I'm like over there looking at it. I'm like, ooh, look at this. It has a fold-out table that props up. And she's like, oh my gosh, I never even saw that. I'm like, yes. And then if you open this up, it's a cooler.
Yes,
It has a built-in cooler.
It's got a cooler because before my wine used to get a little bit warm.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, now I've got a
I'm like,
cooler.
you put a little bit of ice in that, put your wine in that.
It's got
and
a
it has
perfect little drain
table, everything.
And if I'm not wrong, remember, like on the sides of the thing, there was like we feel like that's like maybe for a couple little plants.
Yeah, it's great.
I had no clue. That's pretty color. That's big. I can get in. I'll take it. I picked that sucker out in about 5 minutes, and then
Yeah.
Beth comes in and finally shows me what to do. It's great. That's the story.
And that's why we're friends.
And I am a wham bam, thank you, ma'am kind of gal.
Yep.
Yeah, it is funny. I don't mess around.
Nope.
I don't
Okay.
mess around. Let's do it. Let's think of.
Do we have an ad for
Well,
today?
I don't know which ads he's going to put up there.
Okay, let's see what he's got. Ty's
Oh
got-
my gosh, this is a good one.
Okay.
So can you imagine? Okay, this is why the Green Bay Packers recommend
I
the
remember
Norelco
these.
Comfort Shave. Can you imagine? So like that is the Green Bay Packers. What would you even have to pay all those people to be an ad today?
What year is this?
1968.
They probably didn't get paid hardly anything.
No, this is out of that magazine. Remember that Look magazine? It's got the
this
coolest
is-
ads.
They probably I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't get anything and it was like, oh, this will help your team. This is promotional for your team.
Oh, I bet
you
they
know?
did. Do you remember those shavers?
Yes.
I actually have an old one that just sits out in my bathroom. The
Okay.
cordless shaves anywhere, battery powered, zippered case with mirror. New Norelco cordless speed shaver 20C, all new flip top, world's largest selling shaver model. Now in gleaming oyster white. New on-off switch, easy flip top cleaning. Popular price, Norelco flip top speed shaver. Yep, the Norelco, the comfort shaver. I
Okay.
bet if you use that sucker right now to pull every piece
Oh
of
my gosh,
skin
have
off
you ever used one?
No.
I had one in the 80s, early 90s, I think, when I was a kid. It was slightly different than that, but it was pink. It was made for girls.
Girls,
And
yeah.
it was supposed to be like the thing to shave with and get like super smooth legs.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to worry about cutting yourself. Hurt.
Oh, 'cause it pulls the hairs out.
By golly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
See, but there's no handle on that thing.
But it
so how do
also-
you even grip the thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Also, it did not leave your legs smooth.
No.
It was a very hit
No,
and miss.
because you're basically taking a weed eater to your legs. And
Uh-huh.
it hurts because they don't cut it. It winds
Yeah.
it up and pulls it out.
Yeah.
I remember I did have an electric razor for my legs when I was young. Thank you, Ty. Yeah, I did
I
have
can't imagine shaving your face with one, like one of those men that's got like a real thick.
They're football
beard.
players.
They're tough.
They're tough. Okay, so we're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to come back with.
I got a really interesting family from Florida to talk about the Rice family and their military history.
All right. Well, we're going to
be
take a
right
commercial
back.
break. Be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So today I have a really interesting story that I came across. So I talked last week a little bit about Pauline Colborn, whose stuff I had been kind of going through. She was a historian. She wrote for the Flora paper back in the 1960s. She had a lot of stuff that I hadn't really researched. So she had a column about a letter she had received about a man named Harry Rice. And it intrigued me. So then I went down a whole rabbit hole of research about this Rice family. They're all buried at Elmwood. They all have this really interesting. Some of it's, just like every family, it's full of tragedy and ups and downs as well. But so many veterans in this family. It just. Wow. So I just kept going back another generation, and I'm like, holy cow. So basically, this letter I'm going to read here shortly what Pauline wrote, but this was about Harry Rice, who had 8 kids, and then she kind of goes into details about these 8 kids, okay? But I started reading a little bit about Harry, but then I went back even another generation. So we're going to start talking about a man named Thomas General Harrison Rice. Okay, so the name Thomas and the name Harrison are going to be repeated in this family's history about 50 million times because it's one of those families where they all named each other the same thing. So bear with me if that gets confusing, okay?
It will get confusing for me, I know for sure.
Straighten me out if you're like, wait, which one are we talking about? Okay. So right now we're talking about the general. I'm just going to call him the general. His real name is Thomas Harrison. Thomas Harrison Rice, the general. He served in the Civil War.
Okay.
He was born in 1840, and he died in 1899 at the age of 57.
Okay.
So one thing that we're going to see as we go through this family history is that all of the men, except for one, I think, died young. Okay, so he served in the Civil War, Company H, the 97th Illinois Infantry. He was married to a woman named Naomi, and they had 3 kids. Now, he's buried at Elmwood Cemetery in Flora, and so is Naomi. So if you're ever looking for a Civil War soldier to research or whatever, he's a good one. I even went back another generation, his dad, to see if he was also served in the military, Revolutionary War. Nothing was mentioned. There's very, very little about his dad, but he's called the Reverend. So I'm guessing that his dad was maybe not military, but he could have been a reverend.
He could have been a reverend, yeah.
In the war. I don't know, because that's kind of where the research ends. And I would say that the Reverend, he wasn't born in the United States, but he was the first generation to live in the United States, okay? So Thomas General Harrison Rice, the general, is the first generation of the Rice family that I can tell in his line to be born in the United States. Okay, so the general and Naomi, they had 3 kids. Jacob, and his full name was Jacob Begina Sherman Rice, and he served in the Spanish-American War. So let's keep track of how many wars we go through, okay? So we've got Civil War covered. Yep. We've got Spanish-American War covered, okay? Now, Jacob was one of the ones that lived to be older. He lived to be 65, and he died in 1932, which really isn't, that's almost 100 years ago, but it's not as far back as what sometimes it seems when you think of the Spanish-American War. He was born in 1866. Okay, the second son, his name was Charles Fred Rice, and as far as I can tell, he did not serve. And he was born in 1885, but he also died in 1932, the same year as his older brother, but he was only 47.
Ooh.
Okay, and then the third son, the one that we're going to go into detail about, his name was Lewis Harrison Rice, 1890 to 1936. He died at 45 years old. He served in World War I.
World War I. So
now we're at 3 wars, okay? And that's just, bam, right off the right off the, I don't know. Okay. So Lewis Harrison Rice, he's the one that is mentioned in this letter that intrigued me about who Harry was. Okay. So Lewis married a woman named Neola. Can we add that to our list of names that we like?
Neola?
Or do we not like Neola?
I like it. Neola.
I like it. It kind
I
of
like
makes me think of New Orleans. Like, I don't
New Orleans. Neola.
know. Neola.
I like it.
Because some people call New Orleans Nola, don't they? New Orleans Nola.
Nola.
Okay. Nola. Okay. Well, anyway, Neola. That was a very short marriage. I don't know what happened, but they weren't. She didn't die. She went on to get remarried and have lots of kids, but apparently it didn't work out between her and Lewis. So that was unusual because they must. That was in the early 1900s that they got divorced. Then he got married to Nina or Nina, I don't know, Nina, in 1914. And then they hit it off and they had 8 kids.
Wow.
Okay. So
8 kids.
let's take a look at a few pictures because I have one of the,
some
before I get too far away from the general. This is the general here when he was a bit younger. But
Wow.
yeah, so he was a Civil War soldier. I think that's a pretty cool picture.
That's a pretty cool picture.
Yeah, I like him. He looks like a nice guy. I think he kind of had light colored eyes.
Looks like that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the general. And then let's see, which picture do you have next? Ty, pull one up. And
I like that picture.
Yes, I do too. Now, this is Lewis, Harry. Okay, so his name was Lewis Harrison Rice. Most people called him Harry. Okay, he worked for the railroad, and he was a furniture agent for the railroad, is what it said on the census. You know,
Furniture agent.
yeah, chief furniture clerk for the railroad. That is
Unusual.
I know, but apparently, you know, the railroads had different like benches and seating in the cars and stuff. And
Yeah,
I guess
so you would have had.
he was in charge of all that. I guess.
Well, if you take in consideration, railroads were the main transportation, so they were beautiful. Had
Yeah, they
tiny
were
cars,
beautiful.
And they were beautiful, yeah.
so
that
that
makes
was
sense.
that was what he did. And that is what's listed on all the censuses is the 1930.
They
and
don't
the
look like they're
1940.
very big guys.
No, I don't think they are. Uh-uh. Okay.
Wow.
So his let's see, what picture did I send after that? I'm not sure if I'm ready for it, but let's just you preview it for me. Okay. We'll show that one
Oh, I
shortly.
like this picture.
Oh, we can show it now. We can show it now.
Go ahead and
That's
show it
fine.
now.
I have to pull up the list of who's who.
Oh, isn't that picture wonderful?
Yes.
Oh, look at the little boy in the front.
So
Gosh, you
this
just can't beat that.
is
Oh,
I don't want to
what
select
a
it.
lovely
Okay.
picture.
So the back row is left to right, Jacob Sherman Rice, who was the oldest brother, the one that went in the Spanish-American War. That's him in the back row, far left,
Yes, it looks like
Jacob.
a woman behind.
Then we have next to him Venia A. Bell
Venia.
Rice Howell.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure who she is. She's not listed as one of the children, but yeah, maybe
Okay.
a cousin or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Then
Yeah.
we have Charles Freddie Rice. Okay, that's the second son, the one that
The little.
didn't have any service.
Well,
That-
look how small he is.
Yeah, I think this is when he's young. And you know, a lot of these histories that I research on Find a Grave and Ancestry.com, they're not complete. So it's probably possible that these are all the children of the general.
Right.
And the only ones listed that I could find were the sons.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then there's Sarah Elizabeth. They called her Lizzie. Lauterbach was her married name. Then we have William Thomas Rice and Martin Logan Rice. Okay. And then in the front row, we have Mary Catherine
Is that
Rice
Are we going
Shipley.
left to right?
Yeah, left to
Okay,
right.
Left to right.
Then we have the general, Thomas General Harrison Rice. Then we have Lewis Harry Rice. Okay, where's
Look
he
at
at?
the little one in the middle.
That's the guy. That's the one that we're going to talk. He grew up to have 8 kids, and we're going to talk about him. Okay, and then we have Naomi, his mom. Naomi Pike Rice was her maiden name, Pike. Then next to her we have Eva Priscilla, but they called her Dolly Rice Jennings.
Now, look at this picture, because like, look, what's the mom looking at?
Well,
the mom is looking over there, and then the girl behind her is looking the other way.
I think they probably told them, like, don't look at the camera, like, because you had to sit there so still, and they didn't want you to smile. They're like, just focus on something.
Yeah, I never did understand the not smiling. What was that about back then?
I think that they didn't want you to look too happy, and that also they were afraid you couldn't hold that smile for that long. Right. It would be blurry. But also maybe she thought that was her better side, like, I don't know. But
see, if that would be me, I'd be outside. I'd be like thinking, "Oh, that one rose bush isn't blooming quite as."
From the way these are arranged, I'm sure that the general had all of these children. It's just
I bet they have to all be his kids.
Just on my research, the boys were the ones that were showing up. The girls were deleted, and that's not 9. There. 9.
There's 9 in the picture.
Yeah. 9. What a beautiful family.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome.
And the general, it makes you think about the dynamics here, because like he's a Civil War vet. Like, what has he seen? Does he have, back then they didn't diagnose PTSD, but what was he like to live with, and how was his mental health, basically, is what I kind of wonder. And then you have his boys that pretty much every one of them grew up and followed in his footsteps of military.
Yeah.
Just interesting. And maybe, they were all a very happy, healthy bunch. And back then people didn't take all that into account. They just went on with their lives. But I think there was always a little bit of that. I mean, now that we're that much out from the Civil War, you start to hear more and more stories about the effects the war had on people afterwards, and it was all just pushed under the rug.
Well, see, and it's kind of weird. Like, if you think about the Civil War being so bloody and just on our own soil and just fighting each other and brother fought brother, I just can't
cousin.
I just can't even fathom the Civil War. It's quite fascinating.
No. Okay, so we're going to talk about that little guy right there in the middle with the white collar. He grew up and he married Neola, and then he married Nina, and then he had these 8 kids with Nina. The first one was Charles Leroy, and he was born in 1914 and didn't die until 1969. So he lived to be 54. I'm telling you, not many of these men lived long, okay? But he served in World War II. How many wars is that now?
4.
Okay. He was a captain in the Army. And the next was a boy named Gary Rice, and he was born in 1916, and he died in 2005. So he lived, quite a bit longer. Okay, then we're approaching. Do we need to take a commercial break? Are we good?
We need to take. I'm watching
because this
you're going to go into a longer segment. Let's go ahead and take a commercial break now, and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online banking, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County, Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're talking about this Rice family and their military history and all of their family members that are all named Thomas and Harrison.
It gets a little bit confusing.
Yes, okay. But I'm going to go through this list of these 8 kids, okay? So I was at Gary. Then after Gary was Robert Archie, 1919 to 1924. He was only 5 years old.
Wow.
He had a very lovable disposition, it says. Nina Jenny, named after her mother, she lived to be 87 years old.
Wow.
Then we have Harrison E. Rice. This is 1924 to 1942. He died at 17 years old.
Wow.
I'm going to talk about his death here in a minute. Then we have Naoma Ruth, and she lived to be 67. Then we have Thomas Harold, and he was a corporal in the U.S. Army, and he lived to be 77. I don't know that he served in no wars were mentioned for him, but he was in the Army. And then the last of the 8 kids her name was Kitty, and she was 85 years old when she passed away. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit of this information that I have from Pauline Colburn. And then after I read it, then we're going to go into more details about those 8 kids. She says, most of this column will be given over to Mrs. Ruth Mosley of Manhattan. That's Manhattan, Illinois, by the way, not New York. The daughter of the late Harry Rice. So I just mentioned Ruth as one of the kids, Naoma Ruth, and she's the one that lived to be 67 years old, okay? Ruth Mosley's letter follows. Do you remember Harry Rice? Okay, so this is Ruth writing to Pauline Colburn. And Pauline says, yes, I certainly do. He was very active in Flora in the 1920s and 30s. He worked at the freight depot many years until his death in 1936 at age 45. He was a fireman, and there was a picture of him upstairs over City Hall. Now, City Hall just became the brewery, and Stacey and I toured that building before the brewery bought it, and the upstairs was full of old framed photographs and all kinds of pictures. I don't know if the brewery owners have kept those. I don't know what happened to them, but I would be interested to see the picture of Harry up there.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he's there. Okay. He and his wife Nina sang and were very active in the Modern Woodman Lodge. Oh. Okay. They had 9 children. Okay. I only have 8 that I could find, so I don't know about the 9th one. And lived in the house that used to stand near the railroad tracks on West 8th Street. Okay. So West 8th.
West 8th.
And the north and south tracks used to run through there. I don't know what corner.
I don't know what,
but apparently there was a big old house there. Their boys, I guess all of them, for some reason, were known as Duck Rice.
Their boys?
Boys.
Like all the boys?
That's how it leads me to think. Were known as Duck Rice. There were 6 boys and 3 girls.
Huh.
1, 2. I have the girls, but I seem to be missing a boy. In 1945, Nina Ross married Claude Mann, Cheesy Man. Okay, so this is the mom. Remember, Harry passed away at age 45 in 1936.
Right.
Okay, 9 years later, she gets remarried, and she marries a man named Cheesy. So why not, right?
Cheesy Rice.
But oh gosh,
that's a good thing they didn't keep her name.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Anyway, back then it was common. Everybody had nicknames.
Right.
Like in my family, all the people from these generations all had nicknames.
Oh yeah, but
nobody went by their
Clay
real name.
City. Everybody went by nicknames.
Yeah, Cheesy Man.
Cheesy Man. Funny. That's funny.
All right. So she asks Pauline. She says, "Do you remember him?" And Pauline answers in parentheses and says, "Yes, I do." He was the oldest brother of Frank and Charlie Mann and was an engineer for the B&O Railroad. He had worked for the railroad since he was 14. Claude died in 1957 and Nina in 1972. So bless her heart, she lost 2 husbands and in a pretty short period of time. Okay, she goes on to say there is no immediate family of Harry Rice left in Flora except Thelma Shipley, who is a niece. And I believe now Thelma is also passed.
I believe so.
It seems odd to go through Flora and have no one there. I was born and raised there, left there in 1955, and only go down about once a year. Okay, so this is being written by Ruth, who passed away in 1995. So this part was written probably in the 1960s, knowing Pauline. Could have Could have been later. Okay. Talk about pioneer families. These two families really were. Edgar Hancock would remember my dad real well. He buried my brothers and my dad too. One of my brothers, age 5, okay, we talked about him, Robert Archie, died at age 5.
Right.
This is a sad story. He was killed by another brother, age 9, which would have been Gary,
Ooh.
with my dad's gun.
So scary.
Then she says he was a policeman too in the 1920s. And the boys, I don't know if she meant Gary was a policeman later. That part was didn't
That's a
quite
little
follow her.
fuzzy.
But anyway, she goes on to say that the boys were playing cops and robbers.
Oh my god.
And they had gotten their dad's real gun to play cops and robbers, and Gary shot Archie and killed him. And poor Gary had to live with that the rest of his life. I mean,
That's
my
sad.
heart breaks over the whole situation, but it breaks for Gary because
A little boy,
he had
you
to.
know.
He's just a little. He's a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And my heart breaks for their parents. I mean, what
I
a
can't even fathom
very,
that.
very sad, sad story. Okay, so I don't have a picture of Archie, but I think I have a picture of his grave. Let's take a
They're
look
all.
at that.
You said
Ty.
they're all at Elmwood, right?
They're all at almost all of them are at Elmwood. There's a few of the girls that got married and moved away, and no, not that one, not that one. Let's look at that one. Oh, this one's We're going to talk about him next. Harrison E. Rice, the one that died when he was 17. It says Buddy. Everyone called him Buddy. Okay, no one called him Harrison because that was his dad's name. So, Buddy. And I think that's cute. So Buddy dove off of the bridge at Charlie Brown Memorial Park in 1941. He broke his neck and died the next day at the age of 17. He was pulled from the lake by Jake Aldridge and George Strange.
Gosh.
Let's go to it. I have a picture of Buddy.
Look, he jumped off.
Yep, that's Buddy.
There was where would he have done that at?
Well,
At Charlie Brown?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming right there by the dam.
Right.
That old
big
concrete bridge.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown Lake is very shallow. We saw that years ago when they drained it, how shallow it really is.
And he
17-year-old kid dove in, broke his neck, died the next day. I mean, just breaks your heart.
Gosh.
What a handsome kid.
He is cute.
I mean, super cute. And this happened in
Gosh, that makes me
1941.
so
I mean,
sad.
yeah, very sad.
Wow.
Yeah, so
They've had some tragedy.
they certainly have. Then she goes on to say another brother, Leroy or Larry or Big Duck, they called him. So that would be Charles Leroy, the one that served in World War II.
Big Duck.
Big Duck. He died of a heart attack in Cincinnati, and the rest of the family is scattered. Gary lives in Seattle, Washington, Nina in Oregon, Kitty is in West Salem, Tom is in Olney, and I live near Joliet. She's in parentheses, Pauline Colburn says, one boy is missing in this letter. Okay, so, she said there was 9 kids. I could only find 8. She said there were 6 boys. I could only find 5. And then she updated on all of them, but she also left out a boy. So the mystery continues, and if there are any sleuths out there that want to track down the missing boy, I'd like to know, did he die as an infant? That'd be my guess, that he died as a small infant and then just left off the history. I don't know. But Pauline writes back and says, thanks, Mrs. Mosley. I'm sorry you don't remember me, for I've been around a heck of a long time. This Pauline, I like her. Okay, so that was kind of the last on that. Let's look. Okay, let's look at this picture here.
Oh,
how cute is she?
She's adorable.
This is the lady that just wrote the letter that I read. This is Mrs. Mosley. This is her real name is Naoma Ruth Rice Mosley, and she lived to be 67 years old. But I just love this picture of her.
I love it too. That's
her little
cute.
her little
The
brooch, yeah, on her dress and her cute hair.
Yeah, and her cheekbones for days.
Yeah, dimples. Like she's
cute is she?
she's lovely. So
She's very lovely.
okay, let's see what other pictures I have here. Okay.
Oh,
This is a Let me see if I have.
Look at that baby. I don't want my picture taken.
So
Aren't
that
those cute little children.
That baby died as an infant.
Oh,
I know.
that's sad too.
I know.
The whole thing. That's a neat picture. That's got to be from the what, 50s?
I would say
think? I
so.
would say so, with her hair and the dress and the little boy's haircuts. Interesting.
I don't
You
have.
don't know who they are?
Yeah, I do. There's so many screenshots here.
Yeah. It's difficult to find them all once you go through such a big family.
Yes.
Huh.
Okay. I don't want
Thanks.
to. I don't want to say wrong, but I believe that this is Thomas Harold, one of the kids of Harrison. I believe that's him and his wife.
One of the kids of Harrison?
Yes.
Okay.
And then that was his wife and their 3 kids. But
And what happened to the little baby?
it didn't say.
It didn't say, it just passed.
Yep. Couldn't find it.
That's a nice family.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at the next picture. Okay, this is a shot of Elmwood Cemetery back in the day, which it looks very similar, but this picture was taken. This would be when they buried Nina, the wife, and
That looks like that's right down the middle.
Yep.
Is that sidewalk still there? Where you see what does that look like?
I think that's the road.
Is that the road? Is
I
it?
think
You
that's
Yeah.
the narrow road.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that looks like that's just right down the middle, but the back side. That one monument, the tall monument, looks familiar.
Okay, actually, I don't think that this is where Nina is buried. I think this is where Naomi is buried, next to the general.
Oh, so
we're going back. But let's go to the next picture. This headstone, look at that. It says Rice, but that is spelled out with stones.
What?
Yeah, they had like wet cement, and then they just wrote her name. They pressed stones into it to write her name.
And that really,
It's
what
not
year
engraved.
was that?
Well, this is Naomi's
be-
grave. This is next to the general's grave. This is Naomi.
So that's the queen mother of the family.
Yes.
And is his the same?
No, there should be one more gravestone. Let's take a look at that. Here's the
Well-
general. Here's the general with his nice Civil War monument with
I
his
have
name
seen that.
and his
Yes.
But then his sweet little wife that bore all these children for
Wow.
him. She gets the let's go back to the little one.
That is, I've never
Wife.
seen one out
Now
there.
go back to the other one. Wife,
Wife?
not that one.
Husband.
Womp womp.
What on earth? Is that the only one out there like that?
I don't know. That might be an old-fashioned way of doing it. I mean, I
don't know.
I don't.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, we need to take a commercial break.
Oh, okay. We'll be right back.
Interesting.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank. We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online banking, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be. Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So today we're talking about this Rice family and their interesting military history and all of the people in their family. So there's still more military to come. Okay, so we talked about Thomas Harold. He was the corporal in the U.S. Army. He was born in 1930 and he died in 2008. He lived to be 77 years old. What I found interesting about his history, and again, there are still survivors out there, and there may be family watching this, and if there are, I would love to sit and talk to you about whatever else you could offer. But what was so sad about Thomas Harold is that he had 5 sons that died before him. He had six sons total, and 5 of them died young.
This family is kind of like the Kennedys.
Yeah. So
boy, they lost a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't find details on all of them. I did a lot of searches, but they all died prior to, I think the last one was like 1991. It was like prior to the internet. Their obituaries weren't listed. I would have had to send off for more information. I haven't done that. So the first one's name was Kelly. Then there was Dean, Robert, Gregory, and Thomas. Of course, Thomas. Now, Thomas, I did find a little bit about. He's buried at Jefferson Barracks in St. Louis, the military cemetery. Mm-hmm. That's where he's buried. And he passed away in 2003. So I don't know if this was during the time of post 9/11. I don't know if he died overseas in Iraq or Afghanistan. I couldn't find any information about him. So he could have possibly served in that war. And it made me wonder if any of these other boys had died, during any of the other, the Gulf War, any of these things.
Yeah, because that's it. I mean, for lose 5 out of your 6 sons so young, it's got to be something.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know.
Very sad. So the tragedy continues. And then the 8th child that I could find, Kitty is what they called her. She's the one that lived to be 85 years old. And in fact, I found her obituary. She lived over in West Salem. She retired from Champ. I'm sure there's a lot of people that knew her, loved her. Mm-hmm. And I wish I could have met her because she sounds like fantastic kind of gal.
I want to hear about Kitty.
But what I pulled from what I found on her that I thought was the most interesting, because I have a daughter that's getting ready to turn 16. Mm-hmm. And this gal, she left home at 16. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to marry this man named Morris Holmes.
Oh, boy. Mm-hmm.
And she traveled alone by train from Flora all the way to California to meet him before he left for the Korean War. So let's add Korean War, because it's in the story. He's technically not a Rice, but he married a Rice.
Yeah, we're 5. Well,
Korean War.
The Korean War makes number 5, with the exception of the wars in the 90s, the Gulf Wars.
Yeah. So
they
5, possibly 6, 7 wars that this family.
Every war.
Yeah.
Literally, you might as well say they were.
Yeah,
His family was in every war.
I didn't find anyone in Vietnam, but there were some that weren't listed. So I mean, who knows? But okay, so she rode the train all by herself all the way to California at 16 years old to meet him before he left for the Korean War. And guess what? They were married for 62 years.
Nice. 62.
Yeah. So that's a pretty cool story. I mean, she knew and he knew, and
that's it.
That was the end of. That's all she wrote,
it
worked out. But I'm just, like 16, which 16 back then, I feel like you were more mature than 16 now, but
a little bit different. Yeah.
Anyway, that's really. Did I show all of the pictures I had, Ty? Yes. Okay.
I'm sad about that.
That is.
I love the old pictures.
That is the end of the Rice story that I have.
Did you say that they are? I mean, where is she buried at? Where's Kitty buried at?
Kitty is buried over by West Salem, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very interesting family.
Yes, very
Such tragedy,
interesting.
though.
Uh-huh.
So much tragedy in that family.
Oh, yeah. And then there was this other, I didn't even start talking about him because he was a nephew, I believe. His name was Dr. Sylvester Rice, and he was born in 1855 and died in 1886. But he was in a terrible train accident during the Civil War. I think he was the general's nephew is what I think he was. But he was on his way to New Orleans when a wreck happened 40 miles from Algiers. I don't know Algiers, what state that's in, but it was as bad as a battle. 18 killed and 67 wounded, including, this is Thomas Rice, not Dr. Rice. That was another. So Thomas Fred Rice, he's the one that had no service, that lived till he was 47. He's one of the general's kids. We mainly focus on Lewis Harrison. This would be Harry's brother, Charles Fred Rice. Yeah, he was in a terrible train wreck. And great loss of life. It happened on a Sunday morning about daylight on the Opelousas Railroad in the vicinity of Company Canal, 8 miles from Algiers, caused by an up train loaded with troops dashing headlong into another up train, which was standing on the track disabled, and the cars, which were also loaded with troops, crashing the cars together and making both trains a heap of ruins. 2 trains filled with troops head-on collision.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, he had disability after that, and that's maybe why he died at 47.
Wow.
But yeah,
We covered another story of a train collision.
we have. It wasn't that one
wasn't
though,
that
because
one,
this
though,
one
was
was
right.
over by Clay City, the one we talked
Yeah.
about. But yeah, I was looking to see where Kitty was buried, but I'm pretty sure it's over by.
Yeah, the general. That's a neat story.
Yeah, it might be Fairfield. She lived in Fairfield. She was a dietitian at the Fairfield Memorial Hospital, and then later moved to West Salem, in 1969, and was a stay-at-home mom, and then I think went to work at Champ, is her story. So
Yeah, with such a
probably over
large family, with the fact that so many of them, I mean, because like I said, there's that one at the beginning of your story was like, there's nobody left here.
Mhm.
You know, they might be scattered elsewhere, but I mean, they had a whole line of
yeah,
males.
and then there's
that died.
there's none in the Flora area that I know of, and that was
to have
mentioned.
such a big family.
Yeah, but a very interesting history there with, next time you walk through Charlie Brown Park and you go across the concrete
Oh my
bridge,
gosh, I'll never think of it the same.
think about 17-year-old Harrison Rice, who they called him
Dove
Buddy.
off.
Think of Buddy. Dove off the side,
Dove off the side.
and his 2 buddies had to pull him out. I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine that, and the other tragedy with the 5-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so sad.
Gosh, I remember as a kid, we had picnics every Tuesday night with my mom and dad's family, and we'd all go over there playing on that bridge and stuff like that. And that's a pretty big, as a parent today, I would have never let my boys go over there without an adult being over there. But, things are different. And back then, and this was like in the 70s, and oh my gosh, we'd sit over there and we'd just sit on top of those concrete things like we were riding horses. And,
right.
And of course, you got that big, where on the north side of it, the big
the
dam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The spillway. I think,
so crazy.
if you were to fall in there, I don't really think you'd get that hurt.
Well, I'd probably fall off on my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just so crazy. But yeah, they just dove in.
Yeah.
Probably had no idea how deep it was.
No.
Yeah,
Very
that's
sad.
not the first time things like that have happened.
No, very sad. So.
That is very sad. And he was a handsome fella.
Oh yeah, he was. And you know what it made me think of, especially because they called him Buddy, is
Fried green tomatoes.
Yeah, so
me
many.
too.
There was like some similarities in the story with like the men dying and Buddy died young and I don't know. It gave me fried green tomatoes vibes.
I love that movie. That's one of the greatest movies ever.
I love it too, but it's so sad. I have to
is.
really be in the right frame of mind to watch it. Because the sad parts get me. I love the funny parts, but the sad parts really get me.
Yeah. Buddy. That's a good movie. And
so in this same article is this one little tidbit. It's just gonna take me a minute. I'm gonna throw it out there.
We got a little bit of time.
So she went on to talk about this paper that Flora's. So Flora had a 100-year-old citizen named Orlando Wrights, not Rice, but Wrights or Reitz. And he returned from a visit to Greenway, Arkansas. And when he came back, he brought a newspaper, and it had 2 very interesting pictures in it. So she just wanted to give a shout out about these 2 interesting pictures that she saw in the paper. One is of a 2-headed calf. It was born last month on a farm of Vernon Call. And the calf was born dead, but it had a perfectly formed head at the front of the body where a head belongs. And then jutting off to the left of that head was a second head, also perfectly formed. The mother cow had previously delivered 3 or 4 perfect calves before giving birth to this freak of nature, is what she calls it. Have you ever seen a 2-headed calf?
No.
I have.
You have?
Yes. Add that to the list of interesting things
Weird
about
stuff?
Beth
Yeah.
Cooper. No, and there's probably a lot of people over in Lawrence County that have also seen it because at the Lawrence County Fairgrounds,
Yeah,
they used to. I don't know if it's still there, but it was stuffed. Of course, it didn't live either, but they preserved it and
That's kinda cool.
What do they call that? Taxidermy. Taxidermied it up, and they had it in a glass case, kind of like the butter cow at the state fair, and then they had this big sheet over it, and then if you asked the right person, they would be like, "Oh yeah, it's over here," and then they'd go pull the sheet off, and you were like,
Pretty freaky, huh?
very freaky.
Huh.
It just was like a regular calf and then two heads.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Yeah. The
Yep.
other picture was of a big snake, but it
No, we
wasn't
don't need
that.
snakes.
It wasn't that interesting.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was an interesting story.
But one other interesting little thing that she did say is that she asks the people of Flora, where have all of the lightning bugs and mosquitoes gone? Do we just not see them because we rarely sit out of doors anymore, or have they left for some more fruitful place? I remember when we used to catch lightning bugs by the jarful and be eaten alive by mosquitoes while doing so. Now I haven't seen a one of either species in ages.
Well, I can attest to the lightning bugs
They're back.
are gone. Lightning bugs,
I don't think there is plenty,
they're not
but
as plenty. We
see
still
the-
get them. But boy, whenever we were out there, they were. I mean, it was just glowing. Mosquitoes, they're still here, but
Mosquitoes are still, but like if you go
yucky.
out in the country, there's still a lot of lightning bugs.
yeah, when we would catch them out at the park, it would just you couldn't even. You could just they were just it was
Everywhere.
Just like oh,
well, it's
yeah.
probably like any species. It has its
moments.
surges
Hopefully they come
and-
back because they're cool.
Yeah, it's probably
I
some
love lightning
predator
bugs.
eating them. Okay, let's end this show on something silly or funny since
Well, it's silly.
we've had some tragedy in
A
today's
little
talk.
Jack Candy.
Okay.
People laugh when I say that I think a jellyfish is one of the most beautiful things in the world. What they don't understand is, I mean a jellyfish with long blonde hair. Deep thoughts
By Jack Candy. Okay. Well, that wraps up our show today for today. So as always, you can find us on Wabash Channel 100 Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. and again at 3 p.m. And all of our episodes are on YouTube. We are missing one that everyone is waiting on, and we are still trying to get that one to load onto YouTube for whatever reason it won't. So they are all there. If you can't find them under videos, they are under the tab that says live. And like and follow us on Facebook, By the Way with Beth and Stacey. That's it for today. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
God bless you and have a great day.